Almost 12 years ago, Nissan revolutionised the EV industry when it released the Leaf, and now the brand hopes that its new flagship EV, the Ariya, will have a similar sort of success to its predecessor. In this review, I'm going to tell you everything I like about it, everything I don't like, and absolutely everything else in between. I'm Charlie Atkinson, and welcome to EV Parrots' review of the Nissan Ariya. The first thing to notice about the Ariya is just how big this thing is. It's one of the tallest cars in the electric SUV crossover segment, but it's also one of the most compact too. Now, you might think that that's going to compromise on space on the inside, but Nissan have spaced the wheels further apart to keep that roominess on the inside that you want in a car like this. Nissan's designers have also replaced what it calls fussy contours with these so-called horizon lines, which basically make the body of this car look like one flowing piece all along. There's also a really distinctive front end to this car, which features these sort of razor thin headlights which carry on down here, and they add a nice little bit of colour to this really big fake black grille. Now, bosses at Nissan wanted this car to acknowledge its Japanese heritage, and so the design philosophy of this car embodies what they call timeless Japanese futurism, and I'm not going to pretend to know what that means at all, but if they wanted to create something that's modern but also minimalistic, then yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job of that. The design of the Ariya is pretty impressive, but the real success story of this car is on the inside. The inside of this car is an absolute dream. Now, there's lots of different Japanese-inspired touches, such as these little patterns down here and all the soft furnishings as well, all of which combine to create a spacious, minimalist interior, which gives you quite a nice, peaceful feeling when you're behind the wheel, and it is quite a nice step change in comparison to some of the other SUVs and other electric vehicles on the market. They have sort of reinvented the wheel here, and I'm a big fan of it. It is quite different to anything else I've ever seen before, and it works quite nicely, but there's a few different aspects that I want to take you through first of all. And let me just start with the dash here, because it's dominated by this monolith display which features two 12-inch touchscreen displays, the first of which is just your general infotainment screen, which connects to Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well, and then you've got your driver's display here, but you've also got this AI head-up display as well, which projects onto the road. Now, Nissan's philosophy for this is that they didn't want to have a giant sort of iPad style infotainment screen like you'd get in the Tesla Model 3 or the Ford Mustang Mach-E, for example, which controls absolutely everything. Instead, they wanted to spread this out across 3 different screens so that there's minimal distractions, and also so the driver doesn't have to look too far away from the road to get all the vital pieces of information he needs, which is a nice little touch from Nissan. I quite like that approach. All the furnishings are also soft and feel quite high-end and premium as well, which all add to that sort of peaceful feeling and peaceful climate that you get on the inside of this car. And you also get nice, calming startup music like that, which is lovely. And as well, when you're driving on a beautiful day like this, when the sun's shining, you can also, bear with me, sorry. You can also put the roof up like that and get a nice bit of sunlight and natural light into the interior of the car as well. It's all very calming, all very tranquil, and yeah, it's a nice feeling being behind the wheel of this car. Now, obviously, the big thing about this car is maximising space. As we mentioned earlier, Nissan spaced the wheels further apart just to create as much room inside the cabin as possible, and they've done exactly what they set out to achieve here. There's no transmission tunnel, so you can stretch your leg all the way across if needs be, and you've also got these fully adjustable seats which recline and go quite far back as well.
Oh my word. Jesus.
So there's absolutely loads of room behind the wheel of this car. Now, in the back, as you can see, there's also plenty of legroom, and I'm quite leggy, so if I can fit in the back quite comfortably, then that's probably a good thing. And there's also plenty of headroom as well. I have got the sunroof open, so that gives me an extra couple of inches, but yeah, pretty comfortable in the back, loads and loads of room. Now, if we come to the boot, you'll see that there's plenty of storage with 408 litres of space, and there's also 2 layers and a nice little cubby for your charging cables as well. Now, before I get behind the wheel and take this thing for a spin, it's time for me to run over all the important bits. So, the entry-level 63 kilowatt-hour version of the Ariya will start from £46,000, which places it around the Audi Q4 e-tron mark. Now, an Evolve trim is also available for just over £50,000, and that includes the panoramic sunroof, Bose speakers, and a few other features like that. Now, for the larger 87 kilowatt-hour battery with up to 329 miles of range, that's priced at just under £52,000, with an Evolve trim also at £56,000. Now, for the customer looking for an all-wheel drive and greater performance version, then the E4 spec is priced between £55,000 and £58,000 depending on the trim, which offers you all-wheel drive powertrain and enhanced capabilities such as a snow mode. Now, the model we're driving today is the 63 kilowatt-hour advanced version, and this offers a WLTP combined range of 250 miles with a 0 to 60 time of 7.5 seconds and a limited top speed of 100 miles an hour. So now we've got all that out of the way, let's see what this is like out on the road. Now, usually with these reviews, I've only had the car for a couple of days, and so you get my true, genuine first impressions, but that's not really the case with the Nissan Ariya, because I've driven it quite a few times and I've got quite a bit of experience with it as well, and it's just as good as I remember. I first drove the Nissan Ariya back in June when I was invited out to Stockholm with Nissan for the official launch of the Ariya, and I got to test it all through the city centre of Stockholm and around the sort of suburbs of the Swedish capital. And although the weather is a little bit more miserable today than it was back in June, this is still quite a nice, pleasant car to drive. I mean, just on the surface it's really nice and comfortable. You're obviously very comfortable in the interior like we've just discussed, so I've got no major complaints. It's well balanced, it handles really well, and it's got a nice bit of poke when you want it as well, especially for quite a big car. So yeah, above all else it is really nice to drive. At the minute I've got no real complaints. Now, Nissan makes a lot of fuss about this e-pedal option, which it says is different to any other electric vehicle on the market, but I haven't really noticed that myself. It doesn't seem to make too much of a difference, and for me it's just a posher way of wrapping up regen braking. So unless I'm missing something here, it doesn't really make too much of a difference, and I tend to drive around without using it anyway. It's just a nicer driving experience. So yeah, I'd forget about the e-pedal if I were you. There is quite a noticeable difference between all the different driving modes as well, whether you're in normal mode, which I'm in now, or the eco mode, or Nissan sport mode. You do get a vastly different driving experience depending on which mode you're in. And just a quick note on the sport mode, another one of the experiences I've had with the Nissan Ariya came this month actually, when I went out to Madrid for Nissan's Formula E team launch, and as part of that we were able to take a Nissan Ariya like this around the track at Jaramo circuit, and you really do get to experience just how good this car handles and how balanced it is into the corners. And I know you probably won't get to experience that when you're just sort of pottering about in and around town. You're not going to be slinging it into many corners, but if you wanted to, if that's your sort of thing that you get up to on the weekends, then you'll be surprised how well this thing can handle it. What's really interesting is this morning when I came out of my house to go and film this review, I locked my front door, turned around and saw this sat on my drive next to my very own Mercedes EQA, and I was so glad to be getting into this rather than the EQA, because it's just simply better in every single way. As I said at the end of my EQA review, there are just so many better options out there, and the Nissan Ariya goes right to the top of that list. You're going to have to go some way to build an electric SUV crossover better than this. The Nissan Ariya has done such a great job to stand out from the crowd, from its stripped-back design to its unique Japanese-inspired interior. It's great to drive and competitively priced in comparison to some of the other more premium SUV crossovers. Now, you may be wondering what the term Ariya actually means, and once again it's another Japanese saying which means noble, dependable and something to be respected. And I think that's a pretty good way to sum this car up. That's all for this video. If you liked it, then please do drop us a like and be sure to subscribe as well. For more electric car reviews like this, you can head over to our channel, and for daily news coverage, features and much more, you can also head over to evpowered.co.uk. Thanks once again for watching, and we'll see you on the very next video.